This week, about 30 members of the Nairobi City County Assembly made loud visits to two critical offices in the city. The first was at Governor Sakaja's office at City Hall, and the second at the Office of the Control of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, at Bima House. They were on a mission. They claimed that for many months now, they have gone without their travel allowances and salaries for the months of January and February 2025. And they claimed that for many months, they have not had bursaries for the more than 100,000 student beneficiaries of Nairobi. You see, by law, the county executive receives resources for the entire devolved unit. It is the county executive committee member in charge of finance who transmits the allocation for the county assembly. The MCAs complained to City Hall that for the last 2 months, they have been forced to borrow to pay salaries. We now learn that the governor explained to the MCAs that his hands were tied, that much of the resources were being delayed by the Control of Budget, who had not signed his requisitions. Dr. Nyakango, early in the year, issued a circular stopping education bursaries by counties. Thereafter, county governors agreed with the deputy president and other critical national offices on an arrangement that would allow counties to issue bursaries. This was followed by a court order stopping the controller from lifting her circular until the matter is determined. The governor washed his hands and told the MCAs to take their grievances to Bima House, and they did.
Nyinyi mnatupiganisha na wananchi. Wale wagonjwa wako kwangu, wale watu wameviwa wako kwangu. Na ndio maana nasema mimi mwenyewe si kitalala hapa.
You can hear the shouting, the demand for attention. They want money, and they want it there and then. And yes, it is within their freedom of expression to do so. But when elected leaders who have authority to inform policy and sometimes cause it to be enforced decide to occupy an office, what's left of institutional credibility? Collectively, Nairobi County government has allocated up to 862 million shillings for bursaries and scholarship for the year, administered under two programs run separately by the governor and the MCAs. It is now inaccessible based on the controller's objections and subsequent court order. For MCAs to troop to offices, and loudly so, causing disturbance to other government officials, what does that resolve? What if we extend this trend? That when MPs are dissatisfied with disbursement of NGCDF resources, they troop to State House, and loudly so, where they are then redirected to the National Treasury. What if, when judges have their salaries delayed, they troop to the Office of Chief Justice, who refers them to the National Treasury? What if, when county governors have their allocations delayed, they do the same to the Controller and the National Treasury? And by the way, did the MCAs have a permit to occupy Bima House? Why were they not stopped? Can citizens do the same? And I gather that since that Tuesday incident, the governor and the Control of Budget are yet to speak. The MCAs claim that they now don't have access to basic services, including drinking water and basic sanitation at the assembly. If the situation is so dire, and they have determined that the problem is the controller, is it possible to invite Dr. Margaret Nyakango for a meeting? Just last week, when Nairobi City County government wanted payment of way-leave fees from the KPLC, they dumped garbage on them. This week, the city MCAs have done their thing. What's next? Who is next? What is the sense of the title honorable when a leadership turns to bullying? When a country is in dire need of leadership, despite having leaders in office, what's the sense? And that is my sense tonight.